I'd like to tie in these earthquakes we were talking about.
Yes.
Because, God, there was a reason that God gave me a dream of a coming earthquake over 2 years ago. And the rest of the story on that earthquake, I've shared this before, but your audience is growing so fast that a lot of them have never heard me share this story. When I had that dream, it was so vivid. I've only had vivid dreams where I could wake up and literally remember every word of every conversation that happened in that dream. I literally wake up in the mornings and say, is there a dream from last night I'm supposed to remember? Nope, I guess not. I mean, I had dreams, but I couldn't remember them. Mm-hmm. But when I woke up that morning, this was vivid, and I could remember every conversation, every word that was said. And I said, this is important. I'm going to write it down. And I wrote it all out. And then I thought, well, what do I do with it? I mean, God has showed me an earthquake is coming. That'll be a 9.2 because I looked up on the internet. In the dream, the earthquake would be as big as what hit Alaska. It was a 9.2, and I've since learned that the Alaska earthquake was the second largest earthquake event in history. So I went to the Lord in prayer for 3 days, and I said, Lord, what am I to do with this dream? People are going to think I'm crazy if I go out and tell them that God told me that a quake of a 9.2 is going to hit the northwest, the Seattle area. So I said, Lord, would you give me the dream a second time? And give it to me a second time, and I'll know that it's from you. I prayed this for 2 nights, and it didn't happen. After the third night, I woke up, and it's like, I got to move on. But what am I supposed to do with this dream? Mm-hmm. I just felt, I was just unsettled. I went down the hall from my office into the bedroom. That's not where I pray. But I just had to pray about this. And I go down and I pray and I'm saying, Lord, please help me to understand what I'm supposed to do. Am I supposed to tell all my Facebook friends? I have a lot of Facebook friends. I have all the contacts of people who have gone to my website. Do I email and tell them that God gave me this dream, that this earthquake is coming? And I just poured my heart out before the Lord. And after I got done, I said, well, I got to go back to my office and read the Bible. And I went and I didn't do what I have done in the past where I just randomly open the Bible and say, God, speak to me. I didn't do that. I just turned to the book of Psalms where I had been reading through Psalms on a daily basis. And I opened to chapter 14, and I read 2 pages, and I flipped the page and started reading the next page. And all of a sudden, I read 2 verses, and it was like I did a double take. Did I just see that? And I'm going to read what I read. I mean, it was like, after I read these 2 verses, I thought, God, did you put those 2 verses in there for me? For all these years, these 2 verses were put in there for me?
Yeah.
I mean, this is what it said. In my distress, I called to the Lord. I cried to my God for help. That was me in distress, in prayer, 15 minutes before. Mm-hmm. So, in my distress, I called to the Lord. I cried to my God for help. From his temple, he heard my voice. My cry came before him into his ears. Wow. God heard me when I was praying.
Yeah.
The next verse. The earth trembled and quaked, and the foundations of the mountains shook. They trembled because he was angry.
Oh.
So God not only confirmed that he watched me in my bedroom as I was praying, and that there would be a coming earthquake, but he even put in there why it's coming. And it's part of the judgment of God because God is angry.